Good morning. Welcome to your poetry summative. This is our second unit. It's the last day of our second unit. So technically, our course is about 40% done. So you are 40% closer to having your grade 12 English credit. So it's a good day. So today is going to be basically not a lot of lesson here, but there's two tasks that you're going to do. And feel free to hand these in any day up until Friday, in the next couple days. But understand that our Death of a Salesman unit is starting tomorrow. So you should have your Death of a Salesman book read, novel study, by tomorrow. So you're on track and you understand everything that we're going to be discussing. So those are kind of the things. That's where basically you should be as of right now. So there's two things to do today. One is a poetry written analysis and one is a poetry test. So I'm going to talk about the poetry analysis first. So first of all, this is a written analysis. It's going to go into our writing strand, which we know is our worth the most. Anything we do as an individual in this course is worth a great deal. It's going to be worth 5% of your final mark, and you can hand it in any day up till Friday, November 8th. Poetry, same thing. It's under the literature and reading strand on that assignments and weighting document that I provided in the orientation, as well as a Google document to you. It's going to be worth 4% of your final mark. So really 9% of your final mark today in the next couple of days is what we're going to be covering. So let's take a look at each one of these things individually. So you're going to open up this Google document here. And this is the poetry written analysis. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do here is you have to go and find a poem. Okay, I haven't provided you with one because I didn't want to pigeonhole you into something that I felt was a good poem. We talked a little bit about, poetry can mean different things to different people. So I want you guys to go out and find a poem. You can find a poem in a book. You can find it on the internet. You can find it in a magazine. You can find it anywhere you want. It could be a poem that you read in high school. It could be a poem that you felt you liked. It could be a poem that, you read your kids once or that you've seen. It's very easy. You can just Google, if you're not sure of a poem, you don't have a poem in mind, just go and Google, poems about loss or poems about love, something to that effect. And then just read through a couple and find one that you feel in some way speaks to you. So that's your first task. Please make sure that you know and record where you took it, because you're going to have to use a works cited here, both with embedded citations and works cited page at the end to give credit to your source and let me know where you took the poem from. So what you're going to do is you're basically going to do what we've been doing in the last 3 or 4 days with all the poems that we've done, is you're going to deconstruct the poem. You're going to take a look at the different poetic devices that occur in the poem. So just be sure that when you answer each question, this is our three stages, right? 1, 2, and 3 for each answer. 1, state how you believe the poetic device occurs in the poem. Basically answer the question. Talk about the voice, the tone, the symbols, the imagery, etc. Then you're going to use a quote to back up what you're saying as proof that you are in fact correct, that this device does occur in the poem. And then 3 is probably the most important. It's the one that's going to get you up into the 80s and 90s. For an answer is you need to explain how the quote proves what you said in number 1 in A, and then why the author would use that device. And so it's the how and the why that's really the kind of the making connections. It's more the critical thinking aspect of this answer. And if you can do that, that's very effective writing. So that's why we put so much focus and emphasis on that. And I'm really the mark on this assignment will really come from that idea. So please make sure that you follow that 3-step process that we have. You will have to do a creative in this. And again, I've left it pretty open. The creative is going to be, you're going to bring in anything that in any way helps reinforce what you think about the poem. And it should have something to do with the lesson or message in the poem. It could be a video, a link, and you would just include the link to the video on YouTube. And you're going to explain it, obviously. You have to explain in about a paragraph why you feel this creative in some way adds to the poem. Could be a picture. Could be like I said, an advertisement for someone. It could be a song that in some way relates to the poem. Anything that you can bring in from the outside world that in some way helps us understand what the author's trying to say, or helps me understand what you're saying, is a good thing, right? So we're looking for you to go outside and bring something creative into this process. So what you're going to have to do is simply, persona. Explain what the persona is, use a quote to back it up, and explain why the author would choose that persona to reinforce what they're doing. Tone. What is the tone? What's the dominant emotion in the poem? Prove it. Explain why the author would do that. Symbol. Let's change this. This should probably be 5 because we'll only actually ask you to get 1. 5, that'll be 5. Irony, if you can find any, that'd be great. Voice is worth the most. This one should be probably your longest answer because it should have the most argument. And then again, how it relates to your world. Then you're creative. You're going to explain exactly how your creative adds to what it is that you're trying to do. Okay? Hand that into the Dropbox here. Okay, this is your poetry written analysis, and you're good. The poetry unit test is here. Click on it. It'll open it up. Very simple. This is a little different. I've actually given you a poem, and this is a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. It's a very kind of famous poem. Read the poem. You can use Google Read and Write. You can use your highlighting tools, etc., to go through and organize your thoughts. Then I've given you very specific questions here. And again, please make sure, even in this, you are answering the question, providing the quote, and then explaining why, how, and why, right? How the quote proves what you're trying to say, and why the author would want to use that particular device or aspect of that device. 2 symbols, 2 examples of imagery. Okay, what is your personal response to the poem? How can you relate it to your life? Okay, and that's it. That's what we're doing today. So good luck with this. Please make sure you got your reading done, and we're starting our Unit 3 tomorrow. So you have a couple days to get these in. But again, we are going to be moving forward and doing some work in Death of a Salesman. So I hope you don't feel overwhelmed. So try to get these in as soon as possible. Okay, good luck with this. Call or send out or come in anytime. Okay, thanks.